The new service allows free users to experience the service on the device of their choice, and the majority of our users now first get introduced to Spotify on a mobile device. A few years ago, when we launched the service in Europe, it was a little, it was a different world. It was a clear distinction between
people had computers and desks back then.
Computers and desks, and they were introduced to the service on the desktop, and then they upgraded to premium to get the features on the mobile. But now the majority of our users are actually on board on the mobile device. It was very important that we keep them engaged, and today is all about an offering that keeps people engaged and increases the number of people that get on that conveyor belt to pay.
But it also increases what they can access from those mobile devices.
Well, yes, you don't get all the benefits of premium, of course.
Premium, you can just pick whatever tune you want to hear.
Premium is on demand, so there's still a clear distinction between the benefits of premium and what free users get to do, but they get to experience, nonetheless, the sort of magic of Spotify. They get to build collections, they get to experience playlisting and all of those cool features, while maintaining the clear benefits of premium, which, as you point out, are on demand, no ads, as well as offline caching.
And so people can create their own playlists and then play those playlists mobily and listen to ads interspersed in their music, and that's how you guys continue to get revenue.
That's correct, but it's different to radio and better to radio in that if you wanted to listen to nothing but Bob Marley, you can sort of listen to Bob Marley all day long. It doesn't have all of those limitations that, for instance, the DMCA has, which is imposed on companies and services like Pandora.
Are there a lot of artists? I remember this famous story that Frank Sinatra's contract with Capitol said, or maybe it was a Columbia contract, said that he was specific to medium. And so when CDs came around, they had to go back to Sinatra and renegotiate deals. So for a long time, there was no Sinatra catalog available on CDs, but it was a medium-specific thing. Are there a lot of contracts like that that you guys are having to wrestle with as you expand your service?
There are some. For certainly, it's a short list of artists that actually retain their rights to say yes or no to different kinds of exploitation. The vast majority of artists don't enjoy that. But for acts of the stature of Led Zeppelin, it's not uncommon for them to have those approval rights, which makes it all the more gratifying for us that they had a right to say yes or no, and they said, you know what, we want to embrace this model and introduce our catalog to a whole new generation of fans.
Is there going to be a time in this business where you don't need a record label? I mean, what you're talking about is catalog right now, but in fact, new music is, of course, a big thing. There's always been talk of not needing a label because the label's not really promoting the way they used to. But for big bands, they still are. Well, I think you surely get approached from our acts that want to go direct.
Don't call me Shirley, first of all. Second of all, I think the death of the label system has been greatly exaggerated. They are our most important partners today. That's still going to be true, for years to come. It's true that it's easier to make a record today than it used to be, but still the label system provides, for a lot of artists, a valuable source of capital to make records, as well as the marketing muscle to get to cut through the clutter that exists. So they're still an important part of the landscape.
Not to get geeked out on accounting things, which I like to do, but I can look at Pandora's books. I know what their cost of goods sold are. I can't look at yours yet. I'd like to someday. In fact, if they're here, you can welcome to show me. But I wonder what the progress has been about lowering your costs, which, of course, you would like to lower, and the artists would like to see go the other direction.
Well, we think that artists deserve to profit, and we think that no business model is going to be successful unless it aligns itself with the interests of artists. So, as Daniel mentioned today,
Daniel Ek, your CEO, the founder,
Daniel Ek, the co-founder and CEO, emphasized today, we still pay out approaching 70% of all our revenue to the rights holders, which includes artists. We pay directly to rights holders, the copyright owners, who in turn pay to artists. We don't pay them directly, but we're proud of that, and we think that everyone deserves to make $1 and a cent.
The radio stations are paying single digits, right?
Well, one of the cool things that we announced last week was a whole new level of transparency in terms of how this model works. We launched a website that we call Spotify for Artists, and it provides a real, detailed window in exactly how this model works. So I would encourage you to check it out. But there has been a lot of speculation.
On that site, it says that you guys have spent over $500 million this year paying for music.
Correct, and 500 before that, since inception. So we're proud to say it's over $1 billion back to rights holders. So this model, we wouldn't have this conversation today if this model weren't working so well to take users who weren't being monetized at all or being poorly monetized. Radio, you mentioned, is one example of a poorly monetized channel, and actually converting them to a much higher valued way of consuming music. So at the end of the day, we have to continue to do that. And again, to go back to a point that we made earlier, we're trying to get more people into this ecosystem. It's been very efficient. It's a very efficient way to move people from no pay or little pay to a much higher payback to the industry. And that's what this is about, getting more people onto that very efficient conveyor belt that's worked well for everybody.